For generations, the worst among us have contrived to tear our social and political fabric apart to benefit the few over the many. Their intent and mission have been diabolically simple: divide and conquer. And they have been wildly successful. It's a Pro and Con Show, brought to you today and every day by Citizen Statesmanship, the cure for what ails us. Hi there, welcome to the Pro and Con Show. I'm Michael James Ott.
And I'm David Smith, and we are the co-hosts for today's show.
As always, who we are is far less important than what we have to say here today. We have a real thought-provoking show for you today. Today's topic: voting isn't enough.
No, it is not.
Voting isn't enough. It's probably, you could argue, it was never enough, but we're in a place in the chaos and everything of what's happening these days that definitely is just not enough. So obviously this show, we're going to be talking about how us as normal everyday citizens, the EOP, the extraordinary ordinary people, we have to get more involved, not less involved. Voting definitely isn't enough.
No, I mean, you can't just go and pull the lever, this is who I want,
because of the problem is, because of the political parties and how badly they're grooming candidates for us, we have really terrible people. And the options are choices between really terrible people.
And it's usually the ones that are the good candidates are the ones that are out on the ballot. So, and there's, they don't have the power to get on top of the ballot.
Yeah.
There's reasons for that.
Yes, and it's all driven by, our lovely narsoles, the worst among us, the narcissistic, sociopathic a-holes that we talk about repeatedly on the show.
You're correct.
So just to go down this line of thought here a little bit, David, how are things, give a few thoughts that come to mind about how things are going on here in America. What are you thinking these days? How are you feeling?
Disjointed, disconnected, anxiety, a lot of different things I'm feeling. It's just, the direction we're going is just ridiculous. I mean, everything on the news is one way, another way, this way, that way. Just like yesterday, the Supreme Court shot down the tariff ruling, right, which was, the data on that all showed that it wasn't going to help out American people anyway. And then what do you have? You have our great president standing up, bashing the Supreme Court. Now, there was a reason why the Supreme Court was put in place. Now, he might have handpicked a lot of those judges, but I think, as far as I can see, it looks like that what we have in place is actually working. Let's hope
for the moment.
For the moment, we'll see.
For the moment.
Yeah.
For the moment. I mean, and just a quick aside on that. Our Constitution and any like document anywhere in the world, in the end, and we've done other shows about this, in the end, it's the people.
Yes.
The people have to, and Washington in his farewell address, he talks about, well, if you have a government framework, then you need to adhere to it, unless then, if the people then say, okay, we're going to change it, okay. But until it's changed, you should adhere to it. And the Constitution is just a framework, though.
Now, the other point was, too, that everything should have went through Congress to start with.
Yes.
He bypassed everything.
Yes.
And what do narsoles do? They just want to control everything that happens and the result of what's going to happen. So hopefully it does go back to Congress, and hopefully they shoot down what the tariffs it's going to be.
But in the end,
I'm not here to say tariffs are good or bad, That's for other.
But this is, there's been a discussion about this repeatedly here, that unfortunately Congress has basically abandoned their role in our government. They're an entity that doesn't do anything anymore. I think a lot of people think that. And so, for example, the ability to declare war in our Constitution is firmly ensconced with the people in the House.
Yes.
the House of Representatives are supposed to declare war. But for decades now, we've had many wars of many, that were, basically undeclared wars. Well, what?
Yeah, exactly. Undeclared because they're not official wars
because they couldn't get Congress to.
So they go back doors and they have all the generals just telling the president what to do, and that's what we're going to do, and then we'll call it unofficial war, and then do what they got to do.
Yeah, we've been running around the world for a few decades here, and Congress again not reeling in the president, and by doing that, offering the president additional powers that the Constitution originally wasn't supposed to allow.
So our leadership's not standing up to what they need to do, basically, and that's kind of what the citizen statesman is about. You're not going to have these 6-term congressmen, senators, whatever, controlling how we're governed.
Yes. Yeah, so the whole thing is, we have let, and we talk about this repeatedly in our shows, we've let a tiny fraction of us that aren't really like the vast majority of us. They truly aren't. I mean, they are, in that they're bags of bones and stuff like that. They have human DNA, but the way they approach life and the way they approach this stewardship of relationships amongst normal people is totally different. They're solely, for whatever reason, they solely are self-absorbed, and they are quite skilled actually at taking from us. And we've allowed them to do that because of their skill, because of their ability to charm us, to distract us, and so on. It's been going on for so long, and that's really what the citizen statesmanship paradigm and everything is going to do for us. It really is going to take us back. And so for you folks out there, because there's a ton of you that say, well, this is not what Washington and Hamilton and Hancock and all that. That's not what they intended. You're right.
Exactly.
They intended, Washington and those guys, all of them. They intended that people like us would be in our government. Now, and the intent was basically citizen statesmanship. What we're doing here with the citizen statesmanship movement, if you will, is going back to our roots. Yep. What we should have been doing for decades, but because of the political parties and the various people that have made that a reality on a continuous basis, and the fact that they've been very effective. The whole divide and conquer thing, we talk about it all the time. Very effective. Mm-hmm. They've been very effective at distracting us and dividing us into smaller groups, and therefore we've lost our power as the average person. We've lost it. What I wanted to say next was, so you expressed this, and so you have a daughter. And I think she has told you, I guess, similar feelings, or does she feel like that way? Or
no, I mean, she's a lot younger. She's 30 years old. She's a professional. Been doing what she's been doing for the last 15 years after getting out of college. She's works for an orthopedic surgeon. But we had a conversation yesterday about how voting isn't enough.
Oh, really?
Basically, I mean, I'm like, I tried to explain the Citizen Statesmanship Tour. She's like, well, Dad, I don't understand how that's going to work. I said, well, it's because you need to do more than just get out and vote. You might have an idea of, okay, I'm going to pick this candidate. They're going to do what I want them to do. Well, when's that ever happened? It hasn't happened.
Right.
So you have to do more than just going to the ballot box, picking your candidate. You have to really think about who the candidates are. Okay, you'll have, do you pick the worst of two evils or the best of two evils. You know, they're both evil, you know, basically. So, you know, and I think a lot of the younger people are kind of on the fence about what to do. You have to get out. You have to go to protests, and you have to get out and rally and things like that. And she's gone to a couple, you know, rallies and stuff. She went to the one in downtown Greenville. She went to the peace walk down in Columbia, but she didn't get out and get involved. She was more about taking the pictures of what's going on. You know, it's like, well, you really need to get involved. You don't understand what's actually happening. And there's frustration because the media will put out different things, like in the beginning, after the president was elected, it's like, okay, we're going to shoot down all of, you know, the repayment plans for all student loans. Well, here she was expecting to have all these student loans paid off. I'm like, you can't ever expect anything. It's like getting overtime. It's not a guarantee.
Right.
You know?
Oh, so she was
expecting to get all her student loans paid off.
So she was impacted in all that.
She's got her worries about everything.
Yeah, but in the first place, that may be her, so a gift, her student loans would be paid off, followed by a disappointment that now it's not going to happen.
So there's a lot of frustration, you know, and she's got a friend that's kind of does some protesting for Gaza and stuff like that, and you know, I guess I'm like, well, do you really understand what's going on in Gaza? And I just know he's protesting. Yeah, you got to get the information right. So, yeah, I think just the media puts out so much crap that people don't know what direction to turn.
That's all
intended.
Right?
Who's wrong?
That's all, but it's all intended. It's intended to be a swirl of chaos and opposing views and all this other stuff, because it's
what they want us to hear.
Because if we're all like lost and disoriented and distracted, and then the small number of people that have been controlling us for decades and centuries, they're still able to control us, and the more that they do it, the more control they can have.
Exactly. And
so actually this is one of the unintended consequences of because I was involved in, you know, fiber optic technology, and it's great, for example, that we're able to do this podcast and you're able to see it on various, you know, media things like YouTube or Spotify, or listen on Spotify or whatever. And the positive is that's great. The negative is there's all this information swirling around, and people don't know what to believe. And it's all 100% intentional. It's 100% intentional. There's a small fraction of people that we call the narsoles, and they are doing all this and label and blaming, because then while we're divided, they can keep doing all this stuff to us. And the analogy that I use is this, you know, sports bar where there's a pickpocket, and he's getting people at the bar angry at each other, so they'll be distracted, so he can, you know, take their wallets and take a little bit of money out and stick the wallet back in, because he's too smart to know, well, if I just take the wallet on its whole, then they're
missing everything.
They're going to get really upset. They're going to riot. But if I just take the wallet and take a little bit of money and put it back, and that's what they've been doing to us for forever, is the label and blame kind of stuff. And we just have to stop listening to that and recognizing that we, extraordinary, ordinary people, we're the real deal. We're the genuine people. And as long as we put us in charge, then good things will happen, because we, you know, appreciate and want good things. For example, David, I'm sure that you want good things to happen for your daughter in the future.
Sure.
Yeah, you want her to have a good life. You want her to live, you know, as much as possible free of hate, fear, and injustice. Right?
Exactly. And we want that for everybody too. You know, I mean, we can't go the direction we're going. So, you know, voting again isn't enough. You need to get out and
especially because voting right now isn't enough, because the only candidates that we can vote for, because we've allowed especially the two major parties, we've allowed them to take control. They have control of us. they're in control, and they determine exactly who is on the ballot.
Exactly.
And these are horrible people, and it's all intentional. They're all these people that all have the same bad traits about them that the rest of us don't have. And we really, 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 really need to, as Washington and Hamilton and Hancock and all those guys wanted us to, we've got to take back the wheel.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back 250 years, you know, we could probably discuss, you know, the Declaration of Independence if you want.
Right. Right. And it's interesting because when we think about, again, back then, what was intended for us, and we're, you know, separating ourselves from the evils of the atrocities of King George back in the day. And so we declared independence, and actually I think...
Yeah, we can kind of discuss some of what was said in the Declaration of Independence, just so everybody can get a concept of what the original plan was for the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Right.
And so there were these atrocities being, you know, inflicted upon us by the British, you know, the empire, the British Empire, and we had tried to you know, mediate some kind of agreement, you know, where we could, because we had people, representatives over there for years,
sure,
trying to argue that, you know, we're being treated unfairly. And then eventually it got to a place where we just said, well, this is never going to change.
So what did they do?
So they did a hell of a lot more than just vote, right?
Yeah,
they decided, okay, we're going to declare our independence, and you know, here's why. So the Declaration of Independence at the beginning is really a lot of, here's all the atrocities that we have been experiencing, and we don't want them anymore. And we could read through them, but you guys can read the Declaration of Independence yourselves if you want. But those same atrocities are now happening to us, the extraordinary, ordinary people. It's not King George anymore. It's our own small fraction of us, the narsoles, that have they now are causing these, you know, these sufferings, these atrocities toward us. They're removing our freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine back then what sacrifices they made. I mean, today everybody's got, you know, cell phones, this and this and this and that.
Right.
Back then, they took a big risk, you know, trying to form their own government here. You know?
And so
there were protests, believe me.
Yes,
they protested on and off, on and off, on and off, you know.
Sure. And then the other point of that, to a brief aside here, is these people that decided to do this, they knew the ramifications of it, but they decided to go ahead anyway. And then and the key point that I'm making here is there was a ton of people around them that said, what, are you crazy? You can't possibly get this done.
Sure.
And this is the thing we're hearing, you know, us in the citizen statesmanship team. We're, you know, good luck, you know, you never, no,
we're not going to change anything.
No, we're just like the original colonists that were trying to declare our independence from King George and the British Empire. But we are declaring our independence from the narsoles. We recognize that there's a small fraction of people, and they're dividing and conquering. They've been doing it very successfully, and we're saying no. And of course, all of you out there, you're human, and you're going to have doubts and things like that. But this is exactly parallel to what was happening back in 1770s when, you know, okay, we're going to do this, and there's a ton of people that said, oh, you can't possibly do it. But then step by step, as people, you know, as we continue to work on this, people began to more and more embrace this reality.
that this can actually happen.
That this can actually
But you have
happen.
to keep going and going and going. And just think what they had to go through. Battle after battle after battle after battle.
Yeah.
Many lost battles. Very few won, but the ones that they won were large enough as a tipping point.
Yep. Exactly. So, so we are the Citizen Statesmanship team. We're, doing all this effort here. We're making these podcasts, and in fact, we're going to have a person that happens to be me that is going to try to be the U.S. Senate representative from the state of South Carolina. So the election's on November 3rd. And mostly because I happen to be the team member that has the time, I'm going to be traveling the state and advocating about citizen statesmanship and just what we were saying before, to help educate, to help bring this idea to everyone around the state. So I'll be traveling to all kinds of towns everywhere throughout for the next 8 months, talking about why we got where we are and how we can get out of it. And we can. Make no mistake, we can make this change just like they did back in the 1770s.
And I think if you're watching this show, you know exactly what we're talking about, or you wouldn't have clicked on the podcast.
Exactly.
You're sitting there going, okay, what do we do? How do I do this? What are my options? So Michael's passionate about what he's doing. So
and this is the thing about citizen statesmanship. Okay, Reverend King had a dream, and Barack Obama inspired many to have hope. But these days, many people are praying, hoping for a better tomorrow. I had a brother once tell me, and I think wisely, hope in one hand, poop in the other, and see which hand fills up first.
Yep.
Citizen statesmanship, folks, it is not a dream. It is not a hope. It is the solution, actually. It is the freaking solution. It is the cure for what ails us. It is the antibiotic for our infection. It is the perfectly tailored chemotherapy for our cancer. It is the wonderfully effective vaccinations that we've had against polio and smallpox. It's the miracle pill. It's the miracle pill that will cure what has ailed human society for centuries. Because this has been going on. Divide and conquer has been going on for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it, you feel it. As David said, this is probably why you clicked on this program and started listening in the first place. You know it's coming. Dark days are coming. Horribly dark days are coming unless we act, unless we do more than just vote. Voting isn't enough.
No.
It's as if the entire world of all of us extraordinary, ordinary people were on the same bus and we're headed toward the cliff. And the worst people that any of us can possibly imagine, the worst people, have hold of the wheel. And the thing, folks, is those people, because of their traits, they don't care if the bus goes off the cliff. They don't care. They only care that they have hold of the wheel. They only care that they have hold of the wheel. And so we must take hold of the wheel. And this is exactly what citizen statesmanship will do. We will take hold of the wheel and we will turn the bus. We will turn the bus. So as I was alluding to a little bit earlier, I'm going to try to be like a kind of an interim or transition person for us. And we'll talk at length in future shows about how the citizen statesmanship initiative step by step will make it. We'll cross that finish line. But the first thing right now is just to get everyone, together and to make sure that the narsoles don't divide us yet again, because this is really our opportunity. And again, if you Go back to Washington's farewell address and read about what he said about the importance of us being together, and he rails against the political parties. Anything involving political parties, he is hell-bent that is a bad thing for us. And he was right. The foresight was incredible, and it's just, unfortunately, his views are coming more and more to fruition every day. So I just want to share with you a couple of things, because these things are true. I have my oath of service to you, a member of my extraordinary so-called ordinary family. That's for everyone out there other than the narsoles. But for the vast majority of us, I affirm and embrace the tenets of freedom, equality, and fairness, and the fiduciary duties incumbent upon me to serve the citizens of a nation founded upon these pillars. I will serve and protect the people of the United States in totality against all enemies, foreign and domestic, to the best of my abilities. I shall not accept gifts, employment, positions of authority, other forms of compensation, or other items of value for any source that could be perceived to influence my service to the people. When or where there is conflicts in interest, I will publicly declare these and serve the people holistically over my own interests or the specialized interests of coalitions, groups, political parties, or industries tied to or associated with me. I acknowledge and embrace that service to the citizens of this country is a solemn and noble commitment. My failure to sufficiently uphold freedom, equality, and fairness for all, or to otherwise fail to serve the people with integrity and compassion, can be grounds for Congress or the Department of Justice, representing the people, to charge me with treason, the penalties for treason being harsh, as determined by a jury of my peers. And again, citizen statesmanship in a word is we, serving in our government should be like jury duty. This is the diamond, if you will. And so actually, the team and I, we talked about it, and so we're going to have this 8-month blitz, if you will. We're going to be talking, and again, because everyone else is, currently still employed and they have full-time jobs, they're doing what they can, which is far more than voting, by the way. They're doing what they can. They're helping, supporting. But I'm going to be going door to door, town to town, around the state of South Carolina. And during that tour, which also includes our effort to become an independent senator in the U.S. Senate, I have this, I will and I will not. So here's my commitments to you.
Let's go over your list.
Let's go over the list, okay? I will represent the EOP, the Extraordinary Ordinary People, to the best of my abilities, with compassion for all and malice towards none. I will advocate for the EOP in South Carolina, in the United States, and in all countries across the entire globe. I will promote and protect freedom, equality, and fairness for every man, woman, and child to the best of my abilities. I will protect and defend the EOP from harm and from all enemies, foreign and domestic, again, to the best of my abilities. I will run as an independent candidate for the U.S. Senate if the Extraordinary Ordinary People desire this, that I should represent them. However, the EOP in the state of South Carolina will have to indicate this desire by gathering the necessary petition signatures to place my name on the ballot on November 3rd, 2026. And I will be wildly transparent in all that I do, these shows being part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I will not stop advocating for citizen statesmanship. I will not stop aggressively advocating for citizen statesmanship during the period from March 1st through November 4th. I will not be coerced, bribed, intimidated, or otherwise distracted from the singular goal of making citizen statesmanship part of the law of the land. I will not run for nor serve a second term if elected to any public office. And I will not retain my full salary as an elected official for my own benefit should I be elected to public office. and I have a little note here, most of my salary I earn, if elected, will be donated to well-known charities. Portions of the salary I do retain will be used to offset modest expenses and income taxes associated with my service to you, the people. And
ordinary people.
And so these kinds of promises, you'll never hear any of these other guys, the narsoles.
No, they don't make promises.
Well, they make all kinds of promises, but they don't make these promises. They don't make these promises. And, you know, we can make a huge difference. We can make a huge difference. But we've got to work together, and we can't allow ourselves to be divided by the label and blame stuff. And they're going to, you know, when this, and the citizen statesmanship thing, it will gain some momentum and some steam. And then when it does, and it will, okay, over the next handfuls of weeks and months, but then you're going to see the narsoles, the political parties, and their associated media outlets and stuff like that, they're going to, I don't know what they're going to say about citizen statesmanship, but I guarantee you, whatever they say, they're going to be try to be as effective as possible to divide us.
So we need people to get involved. That's the number 2 thing. We can't do it all. Michael can't do it all. Yep. I can't do it all. There's very few of us. That's why we need you, the extraordinary, ordinary people. Now, when this, I don't know if this is going to be posted.
It'll be in early March after. So we're having we're taping these. Taping. That's not it. We're recording. That's the right word. We're recording these, and then step by step. So this is we're a few days before March 1st at this point.
Yeah.
When we're actually recording this, and then because of the programming that we're having, this will come out shortly after.
Well, what I was going to mention was I know you have a list of all the different places you're going to go after this, correct?
We're working on it.
Okay, so I think on some of the next ones we'll probably should post those so people, if they want to get involved, they can.
Oh, we'll have there'll be we'll have a website and everything. There'll be plenty of opportunity to. We'll be doing press releases and all kinds of things. So as we come up with a schedule going forward, that'll all be readily apparent. And you can always, at any time, write us at freeequalfair@gmail.com. freeequalfair@gmail.com at any time, and we can give you, if you want the latest schedule, we'll send it to you. If you want some of the information that we're talking about, we'll send it to you. If you want a copy of this oath of service that we're proposing for, citizen statesman candidates for office.
Yeah, I think we just need to try to get the information out there more. Like even the citizen statesmanship, we should have some copies that people can get of that exactly of what the outline is of the structure of how everything will work.
Yeah. So we'll do that step by step. Okay. And so again, just the last couple of things, because I think they're awesome, and I think it's important to reiterate this. So we talked a little bit about the Declaration of Independence, and the whole point of it is that we, the EOP, are separating ourselves from the atrocities of the worst people that are doing things to us. So that was the Declaration of Independence, and of course the Constitution. We're just to read the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And there's a couple of things in there. Ensure domestic tranquility. So right now, the people that are in charge of us, that we've allowed to be in charge of us, they are doing the polar opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Do you feel domestic tranquility right now? I don't.
No, they're doing folks. It's the game. It's the blame game. We're going to have a different show. It's called the blame game. It's intentional. It's intentional. And we talk about the political parties all the time. And again, to be absolutely clear, we're speaking about the leadership of these political parties and a small group around those leaders, not the average people Some of you may identify as being a Democrat. Some of you may identify as being a Republican, or former Democrats, or or whatever, some other parties. There's, many small parties. But it's the leadership, it's the narso leadership, the narcissistic sociopathic leaders of these parties that are causing this. They're causing the hate. They're causing the fear. They're causing the mistrust. They're the cause of it all, and the rest of us are just getting caught up in it because that is their intent. That is their intent. And so again, the Citizen Statesmanship Initiative, the first part of the preamble is, we the people perfect the union. If you just drop a few words out, we the people perfect the union. Mm-hmm. We the people perfect the union. And that's why I wanted to, make sure we hit upon that again. We hit on these things over and over and over again because it's important. One, that, if you hear it enough times, eventually you'll say, okay, yeah, we get it now, right? But the other part is, we don't have any idea how many people are going to see all of our podcasts. So we have to throw in these things repeatedly as we go through, because otherwise this is important concepts that we need people to be aware of. And then I just want to also talk about the preamble of the South African Constitution. Okay. Because actually in a show here pretty soon, we're going to have a show that's called To Russia with Love. And when we do that, we've actually prepared a draft constitution for Russia.
Oh boy!
Which of course we're not going to, but we are going to offer that to the Russian people, and we're going to talk about Russia and unfortunately how the Russian people have had, centuries of autocratic rule in one form or another, and they've not been able to kick themselves free of it. And citizen statesmanship is your opportunity. It is the cure for what ails you. It is the solution. You can get there. Okay? So, and the beginning of their constitution, because we kind of stole South Africa's constitution, then modified it to make it more appropriate for Russia. But it's just beautiful. So I just wanted to read because this is so true. Okay, so again, for the people of South Africa, we the people of South Africa recognize the injustices of our past. Honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land. Respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this Constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person, and build a united and democratic South Africa able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. I just think that that's fantastic. And again, this was, the U.S. Constitution, those people believed those same things.
Exactly.
This is exactly the same sort of fundamental beliefs and ideals that they were going for when they wrote. And there was, a lot of compromise that happened back in the day because of all the things that were going on back in the day, but this was the core. Mm-hmm. And I love these three words: freedom, equality, and fairness. Honestly, a modern constitution could be something just as simple as, we intend that freedom, equality, and fairness, it would be held in tandem and in concert for all in our land, period.
I think we get so hyped up about everything, let's see, the Constitution said this and that. Basically, what we're saying is exactly what they're saying from the South African back to our Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, the Declaration of Independence, our Constitution. There's plenty of other similar like documents around the world. The intent is always the same.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that you get there for sure, though, because the narsoles get involved in all these countries. So the way that you get there is you ensure that the extraordinary, ordinary people in a process similar to jury duty end up taking these offices and serving the people, and then going home again when they're
done with their term.
They
go
have
home,
well,
and then another elected, ordinary, extraordinary person gets elected.
Right.
Everybody has a say in it this way.
Yeah.
It's not like one person controls everything for years on end,
Yeah.
and terms on end, and the same repetitive crap.
Yeah, and the other part of it is that we will again, jury duty. So you have a random pool that you start with, and then the rest of us are going to vet that pool, and and then it's going to be some of the best of the pool that are going to serve us. So I know people are like, well, what, you're going to take a guy off the street and, he's a drunkard or something. And, of course, you're listening to your political parties, whatever. But no, we're not going to. Now, they might have all kinds of people that are in the pool that would be weaker,
Sure.
people for these offices. But the rest of us will look at them and say, well, those are weaker candidates. We don't want them. These others are stronger. We want them, and then whoever we think is the best person out of that pool, that's who we'll put in office. They'll serve a term, and then they'll go home.
Exactly. And what I think is great about it is, okay, maybe somebody will slip through and we'll elect somebody that's not so great. Remember, it's only 4 years. It's one term.
Yeah, or 2 years,
We're
or whatever
not
it is.
stuck with that person.
And here's the other thing that's really important to understand. Right now, because of the gauntlet that it takes to get elected and the influence of our political parties and the narsoles that lead them and all that, we get nothing but the very worst people. Okay, the exception proves the rule. If you look at 500 and something people in our national offices in the United States, okay, maybe there are 2 or 3 good people. But the exception proves the rule.
Yeah.
And the rest of these people are just horrific people. So you have right now today and for the last decades, we've had a few good people, mm-hmm. and the rest of them horrible. In the future, when we have citizen statesmen, okay, maybe there'll be a few bad people.
Yeah,
so you'll have 90% really good people and a few bad people. And wouldn't you? Doesn't that make sense? It would be a way better.
Sound better than what we have now.
Way better. Okay. So we talk about how important it is and how transparent we are. So this is, again, just to focus on the transparency. So we here at the Pro and Con Show, we attest to the fact you'll never see or hear about sponsors or advertising. We don't care about any of that junk. We can't stop Spotify or Apple Podcasts or somebody from inserting some advertising, but you won't hear it here. We don't want to take any money from anybody. We won't. We don't want your money. We don't want your time. We don't want your adoration. Mm-hmm. David and I someday, if citizen statesmanship is in place, the world is going to be far better, in whatever countries that's true. And if no one ever knows our name, we can't be happier. We could not possibly be more happy about that state of affairs. That would be a glorious thing.
I had a boss once tell me, actually, I was in the Navy also, and one of my senior petty officers said to me, if I know your name, that's not good, because that means you're always in the spotlight, you always know what's going on, and you're always either in trouble or something else. The ones with the quiet, that I don't know their name, they're the ones that are succeeding and continuing to move on and get things done.
Yeah, there's so any of you that are, well, of course, in all of your lives, you have these experiences and you have stories. Mm-hmm. And we'd love to hear them, by the way. You can send them to us. But, of course, when you're in the military, you have stories as well.
Lots of stories.
And a lot of them have to do with leadership, because this is one of the key things that's about the military, right? It's the whole structure of leadership. So you'll hear us in these shows, especially me. I was I'm a veteran. There are periodically where I'll tell stories about what happened. So anyway, what we do want to do, again, we don't want your adoration. What we do want you to be is clear-eyed and really think long and hard about how things have been and where they are going, and whether you are ready to really step forward to make a real difference in doing something other than just voting, which, you can help, you can talk to people, you can encourage them to listen to our podcast, for example. You can come to some of the rallies. You can, start resisting all of the stupidity that is intended to divide and conquer us. All this stuff that's just made, that's intended to cause us to hate each other and mistrust each other. So, and then finally, we're just plain folk. We're just plain folk, volunteers and facilitators for a much better tomorrow. And that future will be featuring citizen statesmen in our elected offices. And that will be a future more or less completely free of hate, fear, and injustice. So write into the show. Again, it's freeequalfair@gmail.com. So David, our next show is going to be interesting and entertaining. It's going to be called To
Russia with Love.
To Russia with Love, which I think is a movie's title or something, isn't it?
It is.
Was it a Bond movie?
Yeah, James Bond, 07.
Okay, it was.
I think it was Sean Connery.
But it's
To Russia with Love.
Okay, but that show is truly, sincerely, that is a show intended to be for the Russian people with love and compassion.
That'd be interesting.
So please join us, won't you?